We want to make sure that if we choose to enter into the market in terms of providing a future in the market, that we, number one, have client demand, and number two, that we put the right risk management protocols in place to make it so that people feel confidence in what we're providing and how that becomes an investable product.
Here we go.
All right, that was the president and CEO of NASDAQ, Adena Friedman, on her outlook for Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency sitting slightly lower this morning. Joining me right now is the Chief Operating Officer of PayPal, Bill Ready. And Bill, it's good to have you. Thanks so much for weighing in here, because it appears that when you're talking about mobile payments, you're perfect to talk about Bitcoin.
Well, sure.
Do you like Bitcoin? Is this part of your strategy?
Well, I mean, for me, as an engineer by background, the blockchain technology that Bitcoin sits on top of, I think, it is a fundamental breakthrough in computer science, and so there's tremendous long-term opportunity for the blockchain technology. I think right now what you're seeing is a lot of people still thinking about it from a sort of currency perspective and maybe even speculating on that. I think it's still very early days for the commerce applications of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, but long-term we think there's a lot of tremendous potential there in the long-term beyond the currency aspect that is what people tend to focus on right now.
But we don't know which cryptocurrency will end up winning the day, but you're a believer in blockchain.
Absolutely a believer in blockchain. Which cryptocurrency, I think, the fact that there are multiple of these, I think speaks to how much the underlying technology is more important than any one of the currencies necessarily. So the underlying technology of blockchain, which tends to sort of move across these different cryptocurrencies, is a thing that I think most people or many people are focused on. And the fact that there's multiple cryptocurrencies is evidence of the importance of the underlying technology more than any one of those currencies.
I mean, I think the blockchain technology is basically just telling us that you can trust the person on the other side of the transaction, right?
I think
for the
that's
most part. But you could use dollars with that. Why do I need a cryptocurrency for that?
Well, I think that's the interesting thing, that the breakthrough of blockchain is really this notion of distributed trust. And I think the bigger breakthroughs are going to happen when people apply blockchain to use cases that could only be solved through distributed trust. Places where there's a well-functioning central brokerage of trust may not be the right first early applications. It takes 7 minutes or so to settle on the blockchain versus, you're trading dollars to euros you can do in milliseconds. So I think it's going to really be a bigger breakthrough as people think about the use cases that could only be solved through distributed trust versus central brokerages that are well functioning today.
All right, let's switch gears, talk about business today. What are you seeing, Bill? I mean, mobile payment systems are driving business growth really across the globe, and you've been at the forefront of developing some of the most important technologies in your sector. How's business right now? What can you tell us about global commerce?
Well, so one of the most important things in global commerce right now is the move to mobile. So consumers have clearly chosen mobile as their primary computing device. Consumers are spending more time on mobile than any place else. And that's presented tremendous new opportunities. We did $40 billion plus of mobile volume in Q3 alone, the last quarter that we reported. And so it's tremendous opportunity. It's where consumers are spending most of their time. At the same time, the benefits of mobile have not been evenly distributed. You see it happening in the retail sector, for example, that you have some of the largest players have benefited tremendously. The broader retail segment is still trying to figure out how they go connect with consumers on mobile. And so we're really focused on saying, how do we go democratize great mobile commerce experiences for the entire retail landscape so they all can play in a world of mobile where consumers are predominantly choosing mobile as the primary place they want to go spend their time.
And different generations view different ones differently. So millennials, I guess, favor Venmo, putting up some strong numbers. What does the future hold in your view for Venmo?
Sure. So as you know, I joined PayPal as the CEO of Braintree and Venmo. And so we've always had this notion for Venmo from the beginning that Venmo would be a great way that you could pay for anything. And so what we started to do with Venmo was expand it beyond person-to-person payments. That's been a great growth vehicle for it. But recently we started making it such that Venmo users could use Venmo wherever PayPal's accepted. And so that's allowing Venmo users to go engage in a lot of new commerce activities, which we saw were already happening. You could see in our public news feed that people were splitting a lot of transactions, that they were purchasing at great sort of e-commerce and mobile commerce sites already. Now as we're opening up for those Venmo users to purchase wherever PayPal's accepted, we have 2 million plus merchants now that are able to accept Venmo and really attract a great millennial consumer base, and a millennial consumer base that is really interested in using Venmo to make purchases wherever they shop.
Yeah, good synergies there. You mentioned Braintree, the partnerships that it has with Uber, Airbnb. These are important in terms of the partnerships. is that what drives the growth at Braintree?
Well, one of the things for us, with Braintree, we were one of the very first mobile payment platforms out there, which is why most of the big early winners in mobile, Uber, Airbnb, and so many others, built on the Braintree platform. And the great thing for us is that as we were one of the first in that space, one of the first movers in that space, we've been able to innovate alongside those companies. And now you see us doing that, across PayPal. We've struck, in the last 18 months, 20+ major partnerships, Facebook, Google, and many others, where what we're doing to enable mobile commerce is about not just a seamless buying experience, but us connecting our 200 million+ consumers around the world to commerce wherever it's conducted, whether it's on a mobile device, in a social context, in virtual reality, all these things. And those are all at different stages of development.
Certainly has gotten easier.
Yeah, but across any of those, we're providing seamless access for consumers to go engage in great new commerce experiences.
Real quick before you go, are you expecting a bigger regulatory hand from this administration on the tech sector in general?
Well, I mean, we're in 200+ markets around the world,
right.
And it's a heavily regulated space. And so we've, worked around the world to engage constructively with governments, and we think there's a lot of, great sort of, upward trend in terms of what you can do to go democratize access to the digital economy. And so I think that's a common interest that most governments around the world have. And so we found great ways to engage constructively, pretty much everywhere around the world. But we always work very closely with local governments.
So
to make sure
you're not worried too much about the Trump administration putting in more regulation for tech?
Regulation is part and parcel of being in the financial technology industry.
Sure, and you've lived with it.
Yeah, and regulation generally tends to go protect customers, and we want to protect customers as well. So that's why we work so well with governments, is that that's what customers know us for, is to make it very safe, secure, and easy for them to transact. Yeah. And so protecting customers is at the core of our business. Regulation tends to be in that direction to go protect customers, so we really have aligned interest with most governments.
We're
for that
all
reason.
worried about hacking and the like. Bill, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me on.
We appreciate it very much. Bill Reddy there.